Yo! So I wanted to just talk a little bit about a really important part of Nutritional Balancing Program that you should all be aiming to achieve, and that is something called coming alive from within. And this is what the Nutritional Balancing Program will do to you if you follow it diligently enough and you're on the program for a long enough period of time. Basically, what happens is people's bodies are really sick and really toxic, and we have a lot of low energy, and what we need to do is to rest. And this is the difficult part of the program, is having to feel through the exhaustion, feel through the difficult times, release emotional old emotional traumas, but in reality, although you're struggling and having a hard time, what the body's doing is basically building its resources. It's building its team. It's rejuvenating itself from within. But in this time, there's going to be a lot of exhaustion for the most part, and a lot of different challenges and healing reactions. But what happens as a result is something really special, and it's called coming alive from within. And this is when the body, after it's finished doing what it's doing, it will start to blossom like a flower, and we call this coming alive from within. And you can feel it. You can feel a certain aliveness that you've never really felt before, and it's kind of a really powerful step forward in the program, because it shows you that you've really, all that work that you've done is paying off, and the body's ready to come alive again. So you can read about it on Dr. Wilson's website. If you type in Dr. L. Wilson coming alive from within, it's also related to a lot of joy patterns on the hair analysis. But yeah, I mean, hold on to it. You just realize that there will be a time where the body will start to come alive like a flower's ready to blossom. But it's only ready to blossom once it's grown, once it's picked up all the nutrients from the soil, when the sun's shining, when it's in a good environment. Then the flower will blossom. And it's just like a flower, it happens in the human body as well, and it's called coming alive from within, and it's when the flower begins to blossom. So just remember, all those people going through the hard times at the moment, try not to feel sorry for yourself, try not to compare yourself with others. What you're going through is life-changing. It's one of the most, it is the most powerful thing you can possibly do as a human being on earth, is to not only heal but to develop yourself. I mean, that is the highest attainment of a human being, is to become highly developed. So just stick to it. The more exhaustion that you have, in many ways, the more deeper that you're going into healing. So just try and be aware of that. And sorry, there's some fire engine coming past. So yeah, hold on to that thought, and I'll speak to you soon. Hello, it's me. I'm in Sheffield and I'm trying to figure out who I want to be. And we were younger and free. Good song, good song. How's it going, people? Hope you're doing well. Back on the vlog. Again, I'm going to answer some questions. A few questions from the email that I didn't speak about last time. I'll speak about a little bit now. So yeah, keep them coming, guys. So this question is, can you talk about your transition from being fatigued to living your purpose and serving others? Yeah, it's a difficult one, because I suppose all of us, or a lot of us, I think, understand kind of what we want to do, in a sense that we want to give in a certain way to other people, and if you don't realise that yet, maybe it's something to think about. But I always had this drive to give. I didn't really understand how I would be doing it, so there was loads of times on the healing process around 2 years ago, when I would try and push and give, and I would burn out. And I did it like 5, 6 times when I would just push, and then burn out, and then I would have to go back to doing, to healing, just doing nothing again and resting, and then I would get some energy back, and I would push again, and come back and push again, and come back and push again. So yeah, I went through that period of frustration because I wanted to give and serve, but I couldn't do it still. And there was also, the frustration of, everything going through my head. And I've been doing this 3-4 years now, and I did have some energy, of course, and I felt like I knew what I wanted to do, but I was still burning out. So it's a lot of frustration and stuff. But again, I mentioned it on the last vlog. It is a transition. There's a lot of different aspects to weave your way through. I had to get myself into a position where I was earning some money, so I was doing web design, and then kind of, life just throws things. I was in a relationship for 2 years, in a really nice relationship. So obviously that took up a lot of my time. So I was trying to juggle healing with being in a relationship, with earning money through web design, with figuring out how I wanted to give, and then there's the whole thing of the frustrations of like trying to get nutritional balancing out there and people just pulling you down and saying that you're wrong. I mean, the amount of times that I've tried to go on Facebook groups and teach people and help people, and you just get like cut down, and people call you crazy, and people say that you're just in it for the money, and you're just thinking to yourself like, should I be doing this? But things keep going, and obviously now, it seems like getting more simpler and simpler me getting my ideas out to people. But it's definitely been a long process. Like, I only thought to myself, I'll do a vlog like 2 weeks back, and I really feel like it's helping a lot of people and I'm enjoying it. So, I didn't even think to myself 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I'm going to do a vlog. I knew that I wanted to help people, but I didn't even know how to do it. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of changes and challenges, and you try things out. You try writing an ebook, and you try doing this, it doesn't work, but it's just you just got to keep going, really, and try and enjoy the journey a little bit. So yeah, I know I probably blabbed on a little bit on that one, but it's difficult when people say, when was the transition? When was it? There wasn't really like one day I'm sick, one day I'm better. It's just a transition. So I wondered if you can go back to this, and when was the turning point? Again, not really a turning point. The biggest turning point I had was when I released a lot of copper, but that's probably a video in itself. I had an extreme healing reaction to a point where I was nearly hospitalised. I had insomnia for 2 months. I had to come back to England from Thailand because it was such an extreme reaction when I was dumping copper, and it was very traumatic experience, actually. It does happen to people rarely, something like that. But I remember after that, things did improve quite a lot. It wasn't perfect by all means, but definitely improved a lot. So yeah, maybe that was probably the biggest turning point for me. It allowed me to become really much more clear, and I did have a lot more energy after that point. But again, it was a bit of a transition. In terms of spring water, I use Evian. It's on the more expensive side, but recommended on Dr. Wilson's website. Can you recommend any other brands accessible in the UK that are good? Yeah, I mean, Dr. Wilson kind of only talks about Evian for Europe, so it's kind of up to us to kind of do our own research. So I've got a friend actually who does a lot of research into water, and he actually recommended me this one that I'm drinking at the moment. This is called Celtic Spring, still natural spring water. You can only actually get it from one shop in Sheffield, So that's the water I'm drinking at the moment. But like Dr. Wilson says, it is a good idea to swap around the spring water now and again. So I do tend to try out different spring waters, but I am really enjoying this one at the moment. I have tried Buxton, which I went down to Buxton and actually got that from a spring, so it's more natural. But I've noticed that as I go along on the program, I can actually feel what waters are good or bad. Some waters I will try and it will dehydrate me, and I will stop drinking them. Some waters I feel really refreshed and hydrated, so I kind of feel my way into it, and you know, but yeah, I kind of trust my friend on that one. But I understand it's difficult to figure out what is the good spring waters to use. So any advice from you guys watching, if you know any really good spring waters in the UK, then give us a shout. But yeah, the one I'm using now is this one, Celtic Spring. Someone asked me a question about my top NB foods. That's a difficult question to answer. I'm not sure whether they wanted me to actually talk about recipes, but I'll probably just talk about the foods that I enjoy. Probably the same foods that everyone enjoys. But my top one's probably Brussels sprouts. The reason being is I've always loved Brussels sprouts from when I was a kid. So yeah, I love that, and it's really easy to cook as well. Second one's probably peas. The reason why I love peas is because they're so accessible. Like, if I'm rushing around, I'll grab some peas, or if I'm out and about and I need some food, generally I can go and find a shop and they sell like organic peas that I can just eat straight away. So it's like a really accessible food. It's not one of the top foods to eat on Nutritional Balancing, but because of its accessibility, I really like that. And then probably sardines would be on that list. I have a kind of love-hate relationship with sardines. I used to hate them in the beginning, but I was so malnourished when I first started the program that I ate a can of sardines. And I've always said this to people. I ate a can of sardines, and it literally felt as if somebody had cut up my skull, took my skull off, and poured a bucket of water onto my brain. It was like an influx of minerals and omegas that my brain hadn't experienced for so long, because I was so malnourished. But now I love sardines, and one of my favourite recipes is mixing sardines and peas together with some salt, a little bit of ginger, and warming that up, and that's like a really, really nice thing to do. So yeah, try doing that. Put some peas, boil some peas, steam some peas, put a can of sardines into the peas, put a little bit of sea salt on there, maybe a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of ginger, mix it all up and eat it, and you'll be surprised how nice it is. So that's 3, yeah. 4, it's got to be carrots. Just because you can juice them. So yeah, I love carrots. What else? Almond butter. Almond butter and blue corn chips. You can't beat them speciality foods. It's so nice. I love almond butter. Probably too much, really. And obviously blue corn chips. I mean, I think that's 6 now I've mentioned, but yeah, they're the top ones anyway for me. This is an interesting question. Have I heard coffee enemas lowering the NAK? What do I do to remineralize? I have heard about that happening, and I think it is probably true. However, I believe it is true when people do too much, and I think a lot of people do too much that's not recommended by Dr. Wilson. If you're doing 3, 4, 5, 6 enemas a day, then it might lower the NAK. I agree with that. Some people overdo it, in my opinion. Some people don't have around 1.5, 2 cups of water. They'll have like half a liter of water, because they enjoy enemas so much it becomes an addiction. And you can burn out if you end up doing too many enemas. It can like not burn you out in terms of like the adrenal glands are burnt out, but it can just kind of overwhelm the body a little bit. So yeah, I always say to people, just stick to the program, and it's like you know, if your program design sheet says 1 enema a day, do 1 enema a day. You know, I know a lot of people that do 3, 4, 5, and then you hear things like, oh, it lowers the NAK. It's like, well, possibly, yeah, if you're doing 6 of them, or 3 or 4 in a day. I'm not saying, I mean, look, when you're feeling sick and if you want to do 3, 4 enemas in a day, then yeah, you know what I mean, I don't think it's going to harm you too much. I mean, I've done that, you know, for 3, 4 years. You know, I would go and have 3 enemas in there when I was feeling rubbish, and I'm okay now. So it's kind of a balance, because yeah, if you do too many enemas, it's probably going to be stressful for the adrenal glands and the NAK ratio. However, one of the reasons why the adrenal glands are in that position is because of the toxic metals, and you've got to get them out of the system. And you're probably going to you're probably going to do pretty well getting them out of the system if you do like 3 enemas or a couple back to back. So it's just finding that balance. You know, there was a time when I was like addicted to enemas, and I was doing them all the time, and because I didn't go out, I couldn't meet people, I couldn't speak to people very well, so I would just sit in the house and do enemas. Sometimes I'd do 4 or 5 in one day, and after a while I could feel it like burning me out a little bit, and then I would stop doing them for a little bit, and then I would feel more alive, and then so I mean that's when you know, about 2 or 3 years back, when I was still feeling really sick and you're feeling sorry for yourself, so you end up doing things like that. But yeah, in terms of remineralization, you know, again, I think if you're doing one enema per day with 2 cups of water, I don't think there's any need to remineralize. I think the nutritional balancing does that for you. If you're doing 4 enemas a day, 5 enemas a day, then you know, you probably need to remineralize, but you shouldn't be doing that anyway, so you know, you shouldn't really be discussing that. So yeah, in conclusion, you know, just do a couple of cups of water. I don't think it's going to lower the NAK at all. I think these people that talk about it is the people that do too many. Alright, cool, so yeah, that's it. That's all the questions for today. So it's been good, been enjoyable. What am I doing tonight? I'm gonna get this vlog on. Still doing a really cool video at the moment on derealization and depersonalization. What I'm wanting to do at the moment is to create really powerful film-like, documentary-like films about one certain thing. And I do feel like I'm at quite a bit of an expert, I think, on derealization, depersonalization, because I had it for so long and I had so many layers that contribute to it, and you know, I've completely eradicated that now. I literally haven't had any derealization experiences for around 2 years, so that's really good. I mean, it's completely gone. So yeah, that's the first thing I want to do. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Keep getting involved, people. Sign up on Facebook, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye.